Welcome back to the 2024 Belt English Boost third seminar. Today is, thank you, Joseph. Today is smart grammar and vocabulary. But before I get started, I see many of you have already changed your name, Academy's name, and your name. Isaac, if you could also do the same. All right, I would really appreciate it, Sarah. If you too can also follow the instruction and indicate which academy you're from. Now, we got a lot to cover, believe it or not. Smart grammar. I'm very looking forward to this webinar and hope you are as well. Now, before we get started, if you have any questions, please type it out in the chat group, and I'll address as soon as I'm able. Or me
Recording in progress.
Hannah and Renee will also assist me in doing this. Today's webinar will be recorded for our use later on and made available at our neighbor cafe. So if you don't have any of that information, please also go talk to your director, managers. Okay. All right. Good morning. My name is Emma Sigrid from Emma Publications, Belt English of Korea. Let's get started with smart grammar and vocabulary. Now, to be honest, when I train smart grammar, I do not spend much time, about 30 minutes to 40 minutes at most. This is because I spent a lot of time covering the course book. Like it's usually the course book, grammar, and online, and I spend a lot of time training on Topstart course book and then ELT skills online. And I feel that I've given enough teaching advices there so that I go lightly on grammar. But today I'm going to do a little differently because I've been hearing some of the feedbacks I've been hearing from teachers are that smart grammar is relatively light and simple. They don't know how to make it a fun, interactive class. So I'm hoping to show you how this actually is as equally important and interactive and fun as Topstars and ELT skills class. All right. I hope you can see this. If you can see my PPT, please give me a thumbs up. If you are unable to hear me, also do that as well. So let's get started. Table of contents, today's agenda, talk about Belt English, talk about the different resources, then the syllabus, lots of demonstration, and talk about some tips and any questions that you may have. And so here I like to reiterate that in Belt English education system, we teach to help our student become a abled communicator in English, because that is what will get them further as they become adults and use English as a language to do work, to communicate, and to do business, right? And so ultimately, the final goal is that we help our students build English communication skills. So we call this communicative language teaching approach. Within the Belt English program, smart grammar and vocabulary falls into the primary core program, and it also covers pre-A1 to A2 level as our other books. Here are components from our primary program, and right here in the middle, smart grammar and vocabulary. As you see here, we have levels 1 through 6, but they're all split into A and B, 2 books. So about the middle of a level, you will switch to the B books. Now, it is part of our Belt English program. It's one of the 3 main books that our students will use, that you will use to help our student build English communication skills. And so these are one of the 3 components right here. And Topstars, we teach a structure or grammar at each form, affirmative form, a negative form, question form, right? Each lesson consists of language structure plus a form. So it really breaks the structure or grammar into a smaller unit. And then we add on top of each other through various situation, vocabulary words, and types of lesson. And then when you come to the grammar, they come together, the structure it comes together as a grammar rule. So in TopStars, we're breaking into forms, and when it comes to a grammar, we present it as a one grammar rule, and it shows the overall affirmative, question, negative form, as well as answer, short form, and full form. So the approach, the way we present it is different, and this allows students to, again, visually see that they're related, they're connected, and that they are of the same grammar rule. Then you come online to our ELT skills, that we give them a new situation, new vocabulary words, mixing up this grammar to another. And then we ask students to present or create a writing of their own. And this allows us to really see how much of the target language or structure or grammar our students are able to grasp and apply it themselves. And so this kind of practice or learning education system, we call it the meaningful drilling instead of memorizing pattern drill. And these meaningful drills create synergy in our students' ability to grasp and, again, use the language. Within the, level 3, we cover, or any levels, at any level in the primary program, we cover the grammar once a week, preferably, or recommended day is Wednesday. And so if you open up your curriculum Excel, the schedule sheet, it tells you which month, which week that you'll be covering which lesson. And so please refer to this as well as when you'll be taking the lesson, the test, excuse me. Now, here's a week overview. Again, we do grammar once a week. You do them in class as well as you assign homework. You could, or you can do it in class, but I recommend that you assign the homework. Now let's look into the resources. The students have the student book, just A and B, that's all. And it is split into A and B, and your students will be switching to B book about 4.5 months later. So you probably want to buy it beforehand. And for teachers, you have the teacher's book. Notice how your students have 2 books, A and B, but you as a teacher, you have 1 book for the level. And you have the grammar PPT file. It's a multimedia tool. Instead of IWB, you are going to use the Microsoft Office PowerPoint. But a requirement is that you need to have MS Office 2013 or higher and a paid version in order to use our PPT. So that's our catch-22. But within this PPT, you have the answer keys, you have the images that you need, as well as the audio file that you need to present your class or lesson. We do have some grammar, extra grammar worksheets. They're in your USB. We have you have the old version in your USB. We are working on creating the updated, with a full color version, and it is coming soon. And you do have a grammar test, 1 in every quarter. So that will be in 9 weeks or 3 months, depending on how you're using them. And you do have the test in the back of teacher's book. So you can photocopy it and administer the test. But as you see here, we're also working on to create full-colored printable tests, and they will be made available in the near future. We're proofreading it. So there are 4 tests per level, and it's again in the back of your teacher's book. So these are some of the resources that you have to teach smart grammar. Now let's take a look at the syllabus of smart grammar. But before I get there, teachers, I have a question for you and directors. What is grammar? What is grammar? I mean, 문법, grammar. I mean, we use it, hear it all the time, but as I was preparing this presentation, I decided to Google it. And after reading or checking about 20 different sites and dictionaries and things, this was the definition that I like that I came up with. Not came up with, I put together. It's that grammar is a set of rules or an arbitrary system that allows people to communicate effectively because it brings people to the same level. It helps them, it's a uniform system, right? This is why if one person learns it this way and the other person should also learn it this way so that we are talking at the same level. This allows us to communicate effectively. So that is, in hindsight, one of the grammar definition here. All right, so then how can we make our learners smarter as far as grammar is concerned? And so it depends on what you define grammar. Then the next question and how you're going to teach is very much affected, right? But because we're teaching for communication, and as we ask this second question, where how can we make our learners smarter as far as the grammar is concerned, then we see that it isn't about knowing the grammar rules. It isn't the student's ability to identify that this is one of the function of present simple. It's not of the other. What's important it is that when they're talking about habitual actions, they'll be using present simple instead of present progressive. That we believe is, if our students are able to do that, then that is a smarter way to do. And so then there's so many different theories and approaches in teaching, and which one is the most appropriate theory? How can we best approach grammar for our younger primary age group? These are some of the questions we had as smart grammars was being developed. And so in conclusion, this is how smart grammar came to be. It's an eclectic approach to teaching grammar at primary age group, meaning we don't teach just one approach. One approach can't be the answer for all. So it's a mix, it's a derived from many different approaches. And so this is why we deal with traditional grammar, but in different ways like drilling, reading comprehension, personalization, lots of listening, matching, and multiple choices, TPRs. Instead of teaching grammar as a grammar rule, because we're working with younger primary age group, and because we're teaching for communication, in our grammar books, Smart Grammar and others, we approach it a little differently because we want to build that communication ability. And so people will call it an eclectic approach to teaching grammar, but it ultimately consolidates each unit, a certain amount of units with personal writing, task-based speaking activity, reading comprehension, and listening comprehension activities, because in the end, you can't separate grammar with any of these things. It goes together because grammar is a uniform rule to help people communicate effectively. Okay. So here's Smart Grammar. You have 6 levels within Smart Grammar, each level split into A and B. The first 2 level covers the pre-A1, very basic of language, English language. This is on, R is, and levels 3, 4 covers, helps student prepare for A2, and 5, 6, 3, 4 will be A1, 5, 6, A2. Oh, what happened here? Now, just like any other books of MM, we use spiral curriculum system very much so. Here's one example of present simple, how it develops throughout higher level. At lower level, we're breaking down the present simple to even smaller parts. And so I've started from level 3. At level 3, our students will learn present simple with adverbs of frequency, present simple with months and seasons. Then present simple will compare with present progressive. And then we present the past simple and past simple of regular verbs and past simple of irregular verbs. And so our students learn the present simple. They learn different functions of the present simple with a higher and complex grammar functions as we go to a higher level. Then they eventually turns to the perfect tense, present perfect simple, and conditional and passive voices, right? Because they have a good foundation of present simple, then we can move into the past and the perfect tenses as well. And so it is a spiral curriculum that builds on top of each other. Now, I spent quite a bit of time. I hope this will help you again see an overview of Smart Grammar. Each level split into A and B books. As you see here, the first 3 levels, the book A consists of 16 units and hello units. These hello units covers things from previous level and very basic stuff like alphabets, counting numbers here, writing alphabets and counting numbers. And these hello units will cover things from level 1 in a summary, and the hello lesson at level 3 cover things from level 2 in a very condensed summary form. Summarized units, and then they go to the regular units. And levels 4, 5, 6, they should have good foundation of the below levels so that they can start levels 4, 5, 6. You will also notice that up to level 2, there are a total of 16 units per book, and from levels 3 on, there are 18 units. Some people say that why is it inconsistent like this? Then we will respond and saying we are very consistent in the way we create curriculum. We believe that at lower level, it is because we're taking bigger grammar rules into smaller units because they're younger, it is lighter. But as they go to higher level where they learn more complex grammar rules, they need more practice. And so when we get to higher level, we always add more units, consolidation lessons to help give student opportunity to practice. So in that sense, we are very consistent. It's just not the Korean way. But each level, we have 4 tests available except level 3. We have 4 tests plus a final test. And so just know that that final test is sort of an optional one. And the other, up to level 3, in the schedule, you have a day where you'll be taking the test. It is marked on the curriculum Excel spreadsheet schedule. But levels 4, 5, 6, we combined it one of the lessons. And so we encourage you to administer within the same day, unless you have a time, you have another day to do so. Our students will be doing homework they'll be assigned once a week a grammar homework. As you see here, the estimated time that our students will be spending to do them will be about 10 to 20 minutes, depending on their level and ability. And so it's about 20 minutes here, another 20, 30 minutes of online homework, right? And we do have extra grammar worksheet. They're optional, they're not mandatory. They're in your USB. And each level will take about 8 to 9 months. And so here, because the tests are taken at a specific day and you're going to review it together, so it's 36 weeks. But these just based on each unit, doing one unit 1 hour once a week, then that would take you 36 weeks. Now, So sorry, this may look a little confusing, but because we have split addition, right? Okay. The first able, as you're doing able, this will make total sense. But when you get to the B books, in your teacher's book, you'll see unit 17 and onward. But in your student book, they will see unit 1 through 6. It starts again from unit 1, whereas you will continue from A book because you have the one whole combined book, and your students, they have the split edition. So please keep that in mind. That's what I wanted to show here. Now let's kind of look at each quarter curriculum, right? So every quarterly or 9 weeks we'll have presentation lessons, consolidation lessons, and a test. And so I wanted to help you see that picture here. The first hello units and up to unit 6 or 6 lesson, 6 or 7 lessons depending on the level. We are teaching them a specific grammar rule or function, and then you move to these consolidation lessons, and they're titled Smart Times, Revision/Review, and Smart Skills. The Smart Skills focus is more towards the Cambridge exam types of exercises, whereas Smart Times at lower level you see phonics and some writing of vocabulary words, and then in writing a specific writing skill building task here in unit 7. And unit 8 is a revision, a consolidation of these grammar rules with exercises, different exercises, and a task like a speaking activity. And so this is after doing all these units, then you wrap up a section with a grammar test. Apparently, I forgot to erase that previous slide. All right, I knew I'd do this. All right, let's move on to the next slide. All right, the good part, the fun part. I'm about to demo a grammar lesson for you. But before we do that, let's kind of take a look at, I scanned these pages and I actually need your help. Your participation to do this. So if you're willing, please unmute yourselves and participate. Now, here's one unit from Smart Grammar and Vocabulary, level 3. This is unit or lesson 12. Just by looking, by the way, this is a scan of teacher's book. Right, it is from teacher's book. For your students, there are 4 pages, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? But this is a scan from teacher, so you have 2 pages of it. Now, teachers, as you look at these pages, right here, the slide, what do you think is the target language that we're wanting to teach here?
Present simple.
Present simple and?
Frequency, Edward.
Yes, right here, it's in the title. Good. So then, what function of this present simple that we are teaching? And so as you look at this, when you come across a lesson, these are things that you should be asking if you're not using the teacher's book, right? Because this is how you know what you're going to teach and how to check your students have grasped the language. And so, as I believe, was it John or Joseph that responded to me? Thank you very much, by the way. As you said, is present simple and adverbs of frequency, and we're talking about habitual actions, things that happens regularly, right? Hence the adverbs of frequency. It's a very good combination right here. But if you don't want to spend the time to think like that, it's also in your teacher's book. to talk about habitual actions, the structure, present simple, adverbs of frequency, and there are many adverbs of frequency words, but here we're sticking to just 3, always, sometimes, never. And these are the vocabulary words that we will be teaching the students. So very straightforward. So now let's go into each lesson. I've scanned each part, each activity, and brought it here. And so it starts with a warm-up activity. It says to pretend you're listening to music and say, I listen to music in the afternoon. And give students more examples of habitual actions. Write some of them on board and explain the present simple, its form and use. All right, let's go to this part. So I guess I should stop. All right, friends. Good morning. Watch teacher. What am I doing? By the way, module 3, top stars, level 3, module 3, they've learned the present progressive. Okay, friends, what am I doing?
Drinking.
Yes. I'm drinking coffee. Say with me. Oh, I'm drinking juice. 3, 2, 1.
I'm drinking juice.
Very good. Friends, I always drink a cup of juice every morning or in the morning. I drink juice in the morning. I play phone games in the evening. I write in my journal at night or in the evening at night. Okay. How about for you? What do you do in the morning? And then hopefully your student will respond because in the morning, in the evening, in the afternoon, at night is something that they've been learning over again from level 1, 2, and 3. So your student will say, I brush my teeth in the morning. Oh, good. Very good. And so that is the first instruction, the warm-up activity right here. That's the first point, right? Some more examples of habitual actions. Write some of them on the board and explain the present simple. And so, friends, teachers, how would you explain the present simple? It will be I drink. Sorry, terrible handwriting. If I had IWB, I could type it up. I drink juice in the morning. I need a pen. All right, I drink juice in the morning. All right, I drink, but you can also go into, because it's a formation, he drinks, she drinks, it drinks, we drink, they drink. Or we can turn into the form. Do you drink? The question form. I don't drink. The negative form. Right? I think this will really depends on how your students interact with you when you do this miming, eliciting activity right here, exercise right here. After that, let's go to the third bullet point. Right, draw 3 bars on the board, all of them shaded, and the other half shaded, then the third one not shaded. Write the adverbs of frequency, always, sometimes, never, under the corresponding bars. So this is what I'll do, and then I'll write always, sometimes, and never. Okay, so I've done this part right here. Tell students that the shaded part of each bar indicates how often an activity takes place. Explain each adverb and give student examples. Point out that we place adverbs of frequency before the main verb. So if I had that, I drink juice in the morning, right? I will continue on from there. Okay, so friends, look, always is 100%. 100%. But by the way, on the side note, if you have already done, if you have taught with our top stars, you know that this is exactly the same. You just now have a different tools to present the same grammar. All right, friends, always is 100%. What's something you do every day? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. What is something you do every day? Think. Every day. Every day. Oh, Tony, you said you brush your teeth in the morning, right? Do you brush your teeth every day? Hopefully he'll say yes. Oh yeah, right. Every day, always 100%, right? So I brush my teeth in the blah blah blah. Okay, so friends, if you do every day, if you brush your teeth every day, we put always right here. Okay, but if you don't brush your teeth every day, if you never brush your teeth, you say 0%, never 0. Oh my gosh. I never brush my teeth is how you say it. Okay. And then students all be making their faces. But if you sometimes half, 50%. If you sometimes brush your teeth, you say, I sometimes brush my teeth in the morning, right? Okay, friends, let's check. How many of you who never brushes their teeth? Do you brush your teeth? You don't.
Yes.
Okay, and so I'll have student raise their hand who never brushes their teeth. Okay, who brushes their teeth sometimes? Half. In the morning, yes, but at nighttime you don't. Oh, I got up. Okay, then your students will be waiting to raise their hands. Okay, who always brushes their teeth? And hopefully everyone raise their hand. Okay, so I've just done these 3 bullet points right here. Okay, then you get to the next part, which is activity 1. And in the teacher's book instruction, it says to draw students' attention to the word, phrases, vocabulary, and ask them which ones they know. Match the words and phrases with the corresponding photos. But teachers, when you get to this part, this is actually, if you look here, right, this is their student book pages. Your students, they don't need to have their books open. Please don't give it to them. Have them keep it closed or take it away if you need to, so that they'll pay attention to you and respond and hear. So if you need be, where's my magnifying glass? You can zoom in like this. Friends, instead of asking students which one they know, you can also just point to a picture and ask students to say, friends, what's this? Or, sorry, what is he doing?
He is
right.
studying.
Right, he's working. Or is he? And so then I'll play the, oops. Right, I'm doing Zoom. I keep forgetting. No. Teachers, apologize. Zoom and PPT, I'm getting mixed up a little bit. Anyway, you click and I'll play the audio after asking the students. Oh, study. Right. Oh, someone said work, but what is he doing?
He is studying.
Very good. And then you press a space bar and it will lead to the word. And then you do the same. Ask student first what this image is about. What is the word that they'll be learning or they may already know. Then you have them listen and say and point. So you present the vocabulary words like this. Little different from the instruction here because you have now the PPT as your multimedia tools, a visual aid. Whereas here, the teacher's book instruction, you're to play the CD without the visual aid, right? Then you get to the next part, all right, activity 2. And so activity 2, we always teach grammar with some context or situation. And so again, instead of going straight forward to have student read, it says here, draw students' attention to the presentation, discuss what is happening. You're to discuss with the student what they think is happening before you do anything else. And so, friends, look here. Right, do you remember what's his name? Does anyone know his name? His name is Greg, and her name is Anna. Oh, all right, Greg and Anna. Friends, where are they?
Dinner table.
They're at a dinner table. So what are they doing here?
They're looking at their food.
They're looking at what? What are they looking at?
Their food.
Why are they looking at the food?
Because they're gonna eat it.
Right. They're going to eat dinner, so they're eating, right?
Yeah.
But look at the dog. Look at the dog here and look at the dog here. Is the dog happy in the second picture?
Yes.
Why?
Because someone is feeding the dog.
Right, the dog has food now. It's very happy. Right, so now let's listen and find out what's happening. And then you play the audio by clicking the CD button.
2. Listen and
Sorry, can you hear the audio?
No.
My apologies. Let's try that again. No?
No.
2. Listen and read.
I always eat my dinner. I never eat peas. Rex sometimes eats peas.
Okay, so friends, what are they doing? They're eating dinner. Right, does Greg sometimes eat dinner?
Always.
Okay, complete sentence.
He always eats dinner.
Okay, he always eats his dinner. How about Anna? Do you think she eats dinner every day? Yes. Okay, does she also eat peas every day?
No, she never eat peas.
Right. How about her dog?
Sometimes eats peas.
Okay, what's the dog's name?
Rex.
Okay, complete sentence.
Rex sometimes eats peas.
Oh, right, nice. Okay, but how, if you look, Anna's pea, giving it to Rex. Rex eats peas because Anna doesn't want to eat peas. Don't you think that is the situation? See through your questions if your student's able to catch that. Reading between the lines, then this simple situation becomes something fun, something that they can relate to because that's what they probably want to do. Right. Anyway, that's bullet point 1 and 2 and 3. What does Greg always do? What does Anna eat peas? Who sometimes eats peas? Rex. Encourage students a few times to read the presentation. So then after doing this, I can have student read the presentation. You can also click and I'll play the audio.
I never eat peas. Rex sometimes eats peas.
All right. So you can do that. And then you go to the next part, which is the grammar section. Draw students' attention to the grammar box and read it out loud. Explain the present simple to students. Now, by the time you come to the grammar, smart grammar and vocabulary. Your students have already done this in Top Stars. Or they're learning it at the same time. And so you don't have to go as heavily. But however, occasionally you do get grammars before the course book. And so at those times, you definitely want to spend full time explaining, making sure each student has the opportunity to speak as well. And so when it says draw students' attention to the grammar box and read it aloud, here's 2 ways to do it. You can read it by form, read down this way, top down, all affirmatives, or you can do it by person. I do not, I don't. Do I? Yes, you do, no, you don't. So whether you're going downward or to horizontally, vertically, read horizontally or vertically, that is depending on your students, where they struggle, what they struggle with, right? After reading through this part, then, friends, look at this. Study becomes what?
Studies.
Wash becomes?
Washes.
Watch becomes?
Watches.
Go becomes?
Goes.
Why?
Ends with Y.
Ends with,
SH.
oh, right, study ends with I. Okay, SH, right. So when a word ends with Y, we change to IES, verb word that ends with Y. Can you think of another word, verb word that ends with Y?
Fly.
Fly, okay, then we say fly becomes?
Flies.
That's good. So then I'll do so with each words like this. Give student an example. Have them think of another word that ends with SH, CH, O, and then switch them. But why do we switch or change like this? Why? Why do we change? Friends, I study or?
He studies.
Right. Whether me or talking about another person, that's why we change. I wash, she,
Washes.
it, I watch, it.
Watches.
Good. And so this is how I go over the remember section like this. Then, all right, friends, always is how many percent? What percent?
100%.
Sometimes is what percent?
100.
Sometimes is what percent?
Sometimes 50.
Oh, very good. And never is?
0%.
Very good. And so then, depending on how well my students follow along at this point, I will go back to creating example sentences. I always wash my face in the morning, ask each student what they always do in the morning if you need. So I'll just stick with without the time in the morning, what they always do, what they sometimes, what they never do. And if you feel the need, I will go even further, just like the Top Stars. I'll ask each student what he or she always do, and then I will nominate a person and point to another. What does she always do? And then have them turn from first person to the third person. And I'll do that with always. So first person always, third person, and then I'll go to first person and third person for sometimes, first person, third person for never. Right? Then you come to the last part. All right, friends, we use present simple. Can you say it with me? 3, 2, 1.
Present simple.
All right, we use present simple for habits. Habits and action that happens regularly. Okay. Habit. Teacher, I brush my teeth in the morning every day. That's my habit. I do it all the time, regularly. 자주. 습관, right? And so if I need, because habit is a a bit of a difficult word, I would use Korean words if I need be to have them understand that concept. Whew. Now let's move to the next part. That is activity 3. All right, friends, now, again, your students, they don't have their books open yet. This is all visual and spoken. And so when I come to this part, I would even have student I'll kind of zoom in like this. Friends, look here. Look at this girl. What is she doing?
She's waking up.
Yeah, she's waking up. What time is it?
7 o'clock.
Right. So she's getting up or she's we learned this word.
Yeah.
She wake
Wake up.
right, she's waking up. Right. She gets up. What time does she get up?
7 o'clock.
Okay, so
She gets up at 7 o'clock.
wow, so good. And then just like this, I'll go over each picture, each illustration, and have students talk about the image, and then I'll come back, have student read and answer with names, pronouns. Is that right? No, not pronouns. Anyway, you read it with the names. And then you press spacebar after student reads it and go through it like that. Okay, that's activity 3. Oh, sorry, I forgot to read. I didn't read the teacher's book, but that's what it said to do. Let's go to activity 4. Read the sentences, look at the chart, and complete the sentences using the adverbs of frequency and corresponding verb in the present simple, as in the example. So, friends, look here. Okay. This is Jim. What does Jim always do?
Study. Jim always studies.
Oh, wow. Very good. And then I'll nominate another student to do sometimes and never. How about Tom and Mary? Again, keep nominating different students. And have students make sentences verbally, say the sentences verbally, and then, and then I'll go to each activity, have student read it out loud and show them the answer by pressing spacebar. Right? So they know when to place the adverbs of frequency and also as well as change the verbs, the words to the ES or IES, right, or add an S. And then we get to activity 5, have students read the questions and answer them about themselves. These are personalized questions, right? Hence, previously, if I asked you to withhold the personalized question to towards the end of classes, not in this time, but another training in the past. And so the reason I've made that statement before is because it comes out. There's an activity, personalized activity. So anyway, you will then read it together and have students. So read together, read the question together, wait about 3 seconds, and then nominate the students to answer. Now, with this, you don't have any answers to fill in the blank because every student will answer differently, hopefully. Right. Now, you're not done yet. What I've done with you so far, right? The lesson started here. I've shared with you here, and I went through the lesson up to this part, but you're also given this optional activity. Just doing these pages verbally, that would take about 30 minutes. No, please, if you have your student write and fill out the blanks in class, if they write it out, then yes, this will take about an hour because you're going to give them time to write and then you're going to have to correct. And so what we ask you to do is just do these questions verbally and have them write it in at home as a homework. Right? This way you're able to check with the student. Now you're giving them new information, have students do it at home by themselves. This is how you check how much of that they understood. And the next day you're able to check, right? Then check your homework. So the remaining, where if you have done it verbally up to thus far, this is about 30 minutes into your class, 25 to 30 minutes. And so the remaining time we ask you to do these optional and extra activities that are given in your teacher's book. Here for this specific lesson, there's just one, but if you look at another lesson here, right before, you have two optional as well as extra lessons you can do in class. And these are oftentimes interactive, sometimes TPR activities. But so let's take a look at here for this lesson, because this is present progressive with adverbs of frequency for habitual actions. It says to draw a table on the board like the one below. As student takes turns to say how often they do each of the activities. Example, I always watch TV in the afternoon. I never sleep at 11 on Sunday, etc. Put a tick mark for each student corresponding boxes on the table. Oh my gosh. When all students have finished, write the results on the board. 10 students always watch TV. Okay. Anyway, let's get to drawing the table and the second bullet point. All right. So friends, look here. I might even print this out for the students to have it in front of them in the class. Okay. So, all right, friends, look here. Okay. I watch TV in the afternoon. Who watches TV in the afternoon? Raise a hand. Okay. Do you always watch TV in the afternoon? Do you always watch TV in the afternoon? Okay. Do you sometimes watch TV? So then you can ask questions like this or turn it, oh, who always watches TV in the afternoon? Who sometimes, who never? And then have student check mark in front of them. So if you print it out, give it to the students, they will mark always, sometimes, never on these activities. And I will also, instead of just having, oh no. Okay, check mark like this, right? I draw pictures on Sundays. Okay, so I'm going to do check marks, but I will create these extra lines here so that they can write it out, what they always, sometimes, never do. Okay, and after having them fill this out, then I will re-ask the question, or I will actually ask a able student, a smart student who does excellent student who's very smart, have them come up and help you instead of you asking all the question. And so then nominate a student A to ask the question, how many of you, or who always watch TV in the afternoon? And then they will write only one response. How many who sometimes watch TV in the afternoon? 2 sometimes. Okay, who never watch TV in the afternoon? And so I guess there'll be more because they're at the academy, so you have about 6 students. Okay, and then you get to the next word after, and then you ask B student to do the same, ask the question, C student, D student. Okay, if they have a hard time forming the question, you can ask them to just say in an affirmative form, I always study in the afternoon. I sometimes study in the afternoon. And again, if your entire students are having difficulty in the question form, then you can ask them to form the question, he cleans his room on Sundays, right? You can change the persons as well. And you, after writing all the numbers, then you get to the last part, bullet point here. One student always watch TV in the afternoon. 6 students never watch TV in the afternoon. That is the optional activity stated in your teacher's book for this lesson. Now, this will take probably good 20-25 minutes, depending on how your students, how comfortable they are of the frequency, adverbs, and present simple. Okay. Just right on time. Again, when I demonstrated previous trainings on smart grammar, I didn't go this much in depth because the instructions are relatively simple and straightforward. That's how I felt. But I hope if you are struggling on how to present the grammar because the instruction in the smart grammar teacher books are too simple, you can always refer to the top stars, or if you're a Korean teacher, you can always refer to our English skills teaching guide, teacher's guide, because they're in Korean. And so don't limit yourself to just one resource, refer to other resources that you have. Instead of, if you don't like to use the PPT in this part, then open up your IWB. It's the same target grammar, most likely, about 95% of the times. It is the same grammar and structure. So that is something I recommend you to do. But I've always demonstrated like a presentation unit. And so the next demonstration, I want to actually do one of the consolidation lessons, because that is another some of the feedback requests I received through emails. And so let's get to that part. This is unit 16. So it's the Smart Time, the second set of the first lesson, consolidation lesson in the Smart Grammar books. Here, the first one is the spelling check. Then we're going to go into phonics, write the phonics, some phonetic words, and then we're going to the writing corner with some writing exercises. The aim of the first section is to check spelling, have students revise the spelling of the words introduced in the previous lesson, right? Lessons 10 through 50, I believe. So just to let you know, these Smart Time lessons appear every 7 lessons, and it will deal with like spelling, phonics, writing techniques, and the phonics activity always focuses on the sound of the letters. And they do a song that gets keep repeating to help oral reinforcement. So anyway, let's get to this part. So have student complete the word with the correct letter, then have student write the letter in the box. I think that's relatively straightforward. Draw, wash, watch, right? So it's actually a little bit of critical thinking, like skills from your students at this age group. They have to recall the words, and find that common letter that will go into these 3 words. So draw, wash, and watch. So the number 1 is W. Again, you're doing just you're doing just verbally. So we are reinforcing the vocabulary words. After doing each one, we have student write WPEL. It doesn't mean anything, right? And then you get to the second part. Now, the second activity aims to practice the phonics of E, sound, right? Then we're going to draw students' attention to the letter E and say the E sound aloud. Have student repeat after you. Play the CD. Have student repeat the sound a few times. Then play the song once. Ask student to listen carefully. Ask student to circle the E sound in the word of the song. And check students' answer. Right. This is what it says in the teacher's book. Now, because you have the multimedia tool, this is how, or PPT, this is how I will present it. First, friends, look at this. What do you see here? What is this?
Chicken?
Yeah. Can you think of another word for chicken we learned before?
Hen?
Good, right. It's a hen. Now, how many hens do you see?
3?
3? Is she also a hen?
Rooster?
This person?
Rooster?
It's a rooster? It's a girl. Look at her hair. She has eyes, nose, hands, feet. It's a person. And your kids will be laughing. What? Okay, but let's look at the hen. Okay, what color is it?
Red.
Complete sentence?
They are red.
Right, they're red. The hen is red. It is red, right. Well, what's this?
Egg.
Complete sentence?
It is egg. It is
An
a
egg. Good. Look at her hair. What color is her hair?
it is brown.
That was not the answer I was hoping to hear. I was hoping
Brown.
to hear red. Okay. Good. Friends, so there's a hen, it's an egg. Okay, and they're all red. Now let's listen to the song. Okay, and then I click here for the audio.
Lesson 16. Smart Time 2. Phonics. Listen and repeat. E.
Oops,
Listen and circle. A big red hen.
wrong button.
Lucy's got a big red hat and a big red hen and a big red hen. Lucy's got a big red hat and a very big red hen. Lucy's got a big red egg on a big red hat on her big red head. Lucy's got
Oh, oops. Sorry, that's not what I meant to do. Ah. Right, teachers. Let me bring that back. I'll try to pause the song. Right, friends. So I will re-ask, because we talked about hen, red, egg, some of the S sound words, which they needed to hear, right? I want to see if they can hear it. So I will ask again after listening to the song. Friends, so what's her name? Her name is Lucy. So what's on her head? A hen. Okay. How many hens are there? There are 2 hens, right? I will ask some questions. I will have them talk about these 4 words. Keep using it, right? Then I will do a little listening checking activity, right? Friends, Tony, I want you to be a hen. Not a, no, I don't. Sorry. When you hear the word hen, I want you to stand up. Now, Sarah, when you hear the word red, so sorry, let me add a little commentary. You have some students who are very active. You know, they want to move around. They can't sit still. And so definitely assign these many repeated words that are repeated a lot, assign those words to the students, right? And so Tony, hen, Sarah, red, and then I'll play the song again, have them stand. Another thing you can do is have them hear a specific word. How many times did you hear the word hen, bread, head, egg, right? And then after that, I'll ask them, friends, the 4 words, hen, red, what were the head and what else? Egg, right. They all have what sound do you hen, hen, red, ed. Wait, what sound? What alphabet is it? And hopefully and elicit the E from the student, right? And then you take the text away, or the bubble, the box.
A big red hen.
I didn't want to play this. Oh my gosh. I didn't want to play the song again, but I wanted to take the box away. And so you would take the box away, then have student look at it, and I see why I needed to go to that. This is the downfall of a PPT, right? You can't just click and have it go away. And so here we go. You show them the answer. Right. Or one of the examples, and have student now all circled or count all these words or target words, sounds that they needed to hear. So that's activity 2. Let's move on to activity 3. Draw students' attention to the picture and ask them to complete the sentence with the word they indicate. Zen has got a So red and yellow head. So that is the final part of it. Oh, it says to have students say the word fast as they can. It's a little tongue twister. Zen has got a red and yellow head. Zen has got a red and yellow head. Okay, so then after that, your student will be rolling the ground because they thought it was so funny. All right, then you get to the writing corner. Here at lower level, it's a very simple task. Tasks that will help our student like with mechanics and things. Here is a mechanic skill where our students are identifying which words to capitalize at first in the first alphabet. And so, her friends, we capitalize. Also, what's capital letter for A? Show me the capital letter for A. Okay, it's the big A, right? Capital letter for G. And then have them write in the air for you just to make sure they understand the word capital. And then, all right, friends, we capitalize the first letter of what? Names, right? So my name is Sigrid. Oops, Sigrid. S-I, spell S-I-G-R-D. Which one do I capitalize? This one, right? Is S-I-G-R-D. Oh, I mean, they should all know this, but do cover it again just to make sure. Oh, friends, we also capitalize days of the week. And if your students will feel like this would be, they won't pay attention because examples are all there, like this, right? Oh my gosh. You can also use what I have done previously, do a little cover it up. You can modify the PPT we have given it to you. Please minimize the modification, but you can also do this so that your student will pay attention and actually interact with you, and then have them talk about different days of the week, different names of the months, names of the countries, like Turkey, Korea, what other countries do you know? How do we spell? What's the first letter? How do you spell China? China. What capitalize which? China, right? See? And so do all of this. Then you get to the activity 5, where there are to correct the errors. And you have the answer keys here. We are just simply writing, checking if they were to identify these things. And then you can sort of threaten your students, friends, from now on, if you make mistakes on capital letters, minus $1. I'm gonna take $1 away. Or I'm taking a stamp away. Threaten them a little bit. And because you have covered it in class, now it becomes a mandatory rule. You always capitalize these things, right? This is a way to reinforce a specific, and let it become a permanent policy in your classroom. Okay. So, what? After that, you have this writing part. Your students are to, then your students are to then are given these questions where they fill it out with the answer and then try turning it into a little writing passage. So where do you come from? I'm from, my favorite days are, they say it verbally, now they write it out, right? After you have them do it, you can have them present in the classroom. Those are relatively short ones. But after, if they make a lot of mistakes here in this page, I mean, after doing verbally, you're going to give it to them as a homework, or if you want to do this specific part in a class, by all means. It all depends on how much time you have with them. The decision of whether you're going to do this in class or not, it really depends on how much time you have with them. So keep that in mind. Whatever it is, whenever this is, as you check their writing, if you see that there are many mistakes, I will ask them to rewrite it in their side personal notes and fix their writings there. Now, after this, you have some optional games stated here to play hangman. Right. Now let me go back to the lesson, the beginning of this part, right? Here. This is also 50-minute. It's a 50-minute one lesson that you will be doing with your student. And so this is one of the consolidation lessons in level 3. You have 2 more consolidation lessons. One's revision. As I mentioned earlier, the revision lesson consolidates all the lessons previously in that section. Because this is revision 2, it's the second section. You have the straightforward teacher's guide all here with the answer key. And then you have a speaking task-based activity that you are to do. Here, they all vary, but it is very communicative exercise activity here. Then you have the next lesson, another 3rd consolidation lesson. It's called the SMART skills. Now, these SMART skills lessons focuses, it is catered, or the exercise types itself is very close to the Cambridge exams. Speaking, because this is dealing with listening and speaking, it is the listening and speaking exercises from Cambridge exams. So you want to become familiar with those tests, or at least know how they're administered, so that you are better, you are able to present these activities with more ease. Okay, so this is level 3. If I've brought some pages from level 4, they do the same. We have the SMART time, revision, SMART kids, but the pages and the exercise types becomes even becomes more complex, even the writing exercises, right? And the task. This is from level 5, longer transcript, more description expected. And so I actually wanted to do a task-based activity from level 5. You are to divide it into groups of 4. Read the rubric, draw students' attention to the idea, and read the first example given aloud. Students discuss in group what they couldn't do in the past and what they can do now, as in the example. Write students' sentences in a piece of paper. While students are doing this, go around the classroom, make sure they are using the correct structure. When all groups have finished, the captain of each group reports their answer to the class, as in the second example. So, that's the instruction with the example right here. I can cut slices like pieces of paper and give it to the students to have them write it, just like you see in the example here, right? Or I can have them write in sentences, or I can even create a table like this and have students write whoever their friends' responses. Or you can give this to the captain, because captain will summarize it for the students, right? And so you read the teacher's book instruction, you think about how much of this you're going to do and what you will add or take out from the activity based on your student's ability, right? Are you going to have a captain? Are you going to summarize this together? And so think about those things, and that will let you know whether you're going to create a table like this or give them you cut out a A4 paper into 10 pieces and give it to each student, right? So it is an activity, speaking activity is these task-based at the end of certain a section in the Smart Grammar. I will skip these exercises because we are already at 150. But this is one very common speaking exam of Cambridge, right? They're given 2 different they're very similar, but different images. And so you show this page, this section, to the students and deliver this message. Look at these pictures. They look the same, but some things are different. The family is camping near the lake. In this picture, the family is camping near a river in this picture, right? Lake and a river. So as you read this for the students, they have to understand the word family, camping, lake, river. Those are the keywords that they need to hear and understand. And so then next instruction is, what other differences can you see? And then again, you draw students' attention back here. What other different things can they see? And they have to describe. And so that will be, and you're given the instruction, the answer here. The father is working on his laptop. Here in this picture, the father is sleeping here in this picture. The girl's running. The girl and the dog they're running, right? But here the boy and the dog they're running here. And so it's that word chasing. The girl is playing with the dog is chasing the girl, the boy is chasing the dog, the girl is fishing, the boy is fishing here. And so you're going to have students look at it and describe it. And then you have these backup question afterwards. Do you go camping with your family? Where do you usually go camping? What activities do you do there? Or if your students say, do you go camping with your family? If they say no, what activities do you do with your family? It'll be a good backup good question to ask instead, right? Or where do you usually go with your family? Right? Be ready to adjust the question depending on the first. And so these are some speaking activities that you can do with your student. This is another sort of a critical thinking and also Cambridge-like exercise where they're given 4 images and they're to identify which one's the odd one, which one's different, and explain why. Right? So your moment, your words will be instruction will be, now look at these pictures. This one's different. This is the leg. This is the finger. This is an arm. This is the vase. This isn't part of the body. It's an object. That's why it's different. And so you're going to have students look at the next, identify what's different and why. Give their reason for it. It's not just point to say this is different. Give reason for it. And so that is the exercise here. Then you get to level 6, you even have, these are some of the consolidation lesson, combining the structures from the previous units. Now, let's go into some, oh, sorry, my slides. Now, one of the first tip I'd like to give you is that you need to know your grammar. You need to know your grammar because we scaffold our grammars, rules, functions. Rules or functions, I guess, are the same words here, interchanged. And so you need to know what's covered in level 1, or I mean, just realize that. The reason why I'm asking you to know your grammar is because of this one main reason. When you're at level 3, we're just teaching these 3 grammar functions of present simple. But because you know the rest of the function and they're not addressed here, you want to give to your students. I ask you to hold that knowledge, just know it in your head. Oh, they haven't learned this. So I wouldn't ask questions. I wouldn't talk about these. I will only talk about ones that they have learned. This is why you need to know your grammar. I don't need you to know your grammar so you can lecture in front of the students, lecture for students. That will help your kids obtaining the language, the grammar, right? And so please know your grammar, but know what's covered and what's not covered so that you, as a teacher, don't talk about it. Kind of a weird concept for many Korean teachers, I think, because they've always taught to learn it and teach everything at once. But because we are using spiral curriculum, we're scaffolding, we scaffold their learning, the grammar structures and functions. So it's important that you know so that you don't go over what they need to know. And the rest, teaching tips, are pretty much the same. Teach with end in mind. Right at the beginning of my demonstration, I've showed you the lesson as well as the aim of each lesson and told you what is the target language, what are the vocabulary as well as structures that we need to get across. And this will help you identify the direction, how you need to get to the end of it. Use ELSR, elicit it from students. Ask students as much as possible instead of you give them first, right? Ask student what they see, ask student what they think is happening, and then you play the audio, have student say what they've just heard, and then read, right? Although I'm using the slides from Top Stars, I think you can remember where I've done ELSR. I've done ELSR here. What do you see? Who's there? What are they doing? Where are they at? So what are they eating? Okay, how Rex the dog, right? Look at the dog here. And so through seeing what's happening first before you have them listen or read. And so let's start right here. And complete sentence, I think you've seen me do this finger. I usually, in face-to-face training, I use this symbol, but because we are doing Zoom, I've done this. But encourage students to speak as much as possible and be consistent at it. All of our examples and things are always in a complete sentence, right? So they can refer to that. Recycle the target language as much as possible. This is sort of the same as my first tip, right? Know your grammar so that you don't ask questions beyond what they have learned. So you refrain yourself from doing it, and in fact, use target language and form questions based on what they have learned, what is something that they could do. Because if you're able to, the more you're able to recycle the target language, you realize that your students are able to understand you better. They understand with more accuracy and quickly what is it that you want, what is it that you want from them. So another reason why we recycle is because I forgot the word again. I said it yesterday. The study has shown that when students learn something, they forget about 20-30% one day after a day, but they forget about 70 to 80% on a second day, and they forget about 95 to 98% a week later. And so this is why we need to revisit as much as possible so that they keep remembering what they have learned. And that is how you become an effective and efficient seasoned teacher, so to speak. Teachers, if I don't know how many of you are using our Smart Grammar books. I've not given our Smart Grammar enough credit by cutting my training short on my face-to-face training, very short. That is because I spend a lot of time giving you teaching tips on TOPSTARS and ELT that I've cut it short here. But this is a great, great tool. I would never skip Smart Grammar. It is such a fun, interactive a grammar book that your students have never experienced compared to other Korean textbooks methods. And so I highly encourage you to do it. If you don't have time to do it in your regular schedule, definitely do a grammar tukgang towards in the summer or in winter and cover the same the grammar one more time in a new form. Whew, all right, I'm looking at the time. It is 1 o'clock, a minute to 1 o'clock. Do you have any questions so far? I breathe about 3 times. I breath. And I see that no one asked. Okay, well, stay behind if you like to and ask me any questions, but otherwise, thank you so much for spending your morning and the hour after that with me and learning about Smart Grammar. I hope you come to love Smart Grammar as much as I do. All right, thank you so much. Have a great day.
Have a good day.